Greetings, this is Tammy Pakulski, and this is my unit plan for ITEC 7430 during spring quarter of 2022. I currently teach 7th grade life science at J.C. Booth Middle School in Fayette County. I have been teaching for 27 years, and this is me pretending to be Miss Frizzle as we use the planetarium to explore inside cells. My presentation includes a variety of lessons from my ecology unit as my students explore biotic and abiotic factors in ecosystems, discover how matter and energy flows through an ecosystem, and how living things interact with an ecosystem. The unit concludes with an exploration of biomes of the world. Some of the resources used within this unit include using basic research skills as students navigate through various websites, USA Test Prep to assess student learning, using a variety of features within Google Docs and Google Slides, using Nearpod as an assessment tool, and finally using Google Earth to learn specific details about biomes around the world. The main science standard states that students will examine the dependence of organisms on one another in their environments. And here you can see the substandards that fall below that main standard. The ISTE student standards include empowering the learner, digital citizenship, knowledge constructor, and global collaborator. Fayette County uses Schoology as our learning management system. Schoology is where students can find the weekly instructional framework so they know what we will be learning each day. My unit lessons are organized into modules, which makes it easier for students to locate assignments we are working on. Most assignments are digital, which works well for my ELL students as it is easier for them to translate the assignments. Let me take you on a quick tour through one of my science classes. So again, there's the home page. We're currently in our ecology unit, and here are the learning modules that I create. And you can see that there's a variety of lessons. I can embed videos using Safari montage. We can add materials here, and there's lots of resources we can add. We can add Nearpods. Here's Safari montage where I might want to add a video. So you can see some Bill Nye videos, and down here you can see a Nearpod that my students are using as part of this module. Like most teachers, some of my instructions involves whole group learning as I present information to students. Students complete graphic organizers as I present the content, and this is done digitally as a Google Doc. I pre-record my presentations and will include other video clips within that to add to our discussion. I pause and allow students to answer questions on their document and to provide further clarification when needed. Here is an example of one of my graphic organizers that we've recently used with energy flow. So you can see it's a list of questions that students are answering or diagrams that they are labeling. Sometimes there are videos that we're watching within the clips that they are answering questions about. And recently we learned how to do some more interesting things with Google Docs. So here they have a picture that they have to edit, and then they have to go in and insert arrows to show the correct direction of energy flow within this food chain. And then here's another one where they click edit, like they're using the drawing tool, and now they can drag and bring the boxes into the appropriate spot in the energy pyramid. And then they click save and close, and then it saves their responses. WebQuest can be a great tool to use to help students build up their research skills. And my students recently completed a biogeochemical cycles WebQuest that I adapted from an assignment that I purchased from Teachers Pay Teachers, and let me introduce to you what that looks like for my students. So here's the Psycho Web Quest my students recently completed. Again, I adapted it from a resource from Teachers Pay Teachers. So some of it is videos that students listen to and answer questions about. Some of them are interactive websites that students work through to learn about the different abiotic factors within these different cycles. Here's another assignment where they're going to use the drawing tool within Google Docs to click and drag answers into the appropriate boxes. And this helped reinforce all the different parts of some of the major cycles that they need to learn about in our ecology unit. And before I move on to some summative type assessments that I use, I wanted to share with you how I grade all those formative assignments that my students are completing. So I have a gamified classroom, and with each unit, we have a list of assignments that they need to complete. And when they adequately complete those assignments, they receive hearts for those assignments. So I have a heart stamp that I stamp on their papers if it's a hard copy of a paper, or if it's digital, I'll put the heart on that. And then I keep track of their hearts on a Google Doc for each individual student. And at the end, if they've got all of their hearts, they will get 110%. So they can actually earn some bonus points here. Or if they're okay with 100, they can choose not to do a couple of assignments. Our county also provides us with a subscription to USA Test Prep. So this is a great resource that teachers can use to assess if students are comprehending and mastering the material. So this is something I might use more as a summative assessment, and I've taken off the student names, but you can see over here with the circles, the green, yellow, and pink circles, it lets me know if they're mastering the material. A pink circle would be something that I would be a bit more concerned about. Gray just means they haven't completed it at all yet. And then I can also do individual item analysis on each individual question, which is really helpful for me to identify areas that might need reteaching or individual students that might need some one-on-one individual instruction. I also recently had my students complete a Nearpod on ecosystems after they had completed a poster on food webs to ensure that they understood all the vocabulary that was associated with food. A culminating project that students will work on at the completion of the entire ecology unit will involve the use of Google Earth, that students will choose a biome to research, and they will use the features on Google Earth to create their presentations. They're going to create their presentations right on Google Earth, adding images and information about their biome that they chose to research. So overall, my students appreciate the digital assignments as they don't have to worry about losing a paper. It's really helpful for my ELL students that are just learning to speak English, as they can translate into their own language. Um, they also like the recorded videos that they can have access to outside of the classroom, and these videos are also very helpful to my ELL students. My students enjoy collaborating as they work on the web quest together and navigate through all the various resources that are provided. They're not a fan of USA Test Prep, but they do appreciate that I give them multiple attempts in order for them to master the content. I think my students are going to really enjoy exploring Google Earth at the end of this unit. I'm still fine-tuning the details on this project. And in the comments, I will leave links to some of my resources and pre-recorded videos in case you are interested. Thank you for listening.